Some people look at how much they have to work and like, I'll just pay the $100.
Hello, I'm Justin.
And I'm Kyle.
And we are the Mirror Twins. And today, we've got an extra special treat for you, as we always do. Everything's extra special.
All the time.
Here on Mirror Twins.
That's right.
We are going to tell you how to get into Dragoncon for free. Now, Kyle, what is Dragoncon?
Dragoncon is a convention in Atlanta, the biggest one in our neck of the woods.
It is comic books, nerd stuff, geek stuff, pop culture, video games, weekend-long event. It's what, 3 hotels full of stuff? If you haven't heard of Dragoncon, you probably didn't click on this video. And Kyle and his wife get in every year for free. There's some caveats, there's some tips and tricks that we're gonna go through it. And then Kyle's also gonna show us what he did.
Oh yeah.
So there's
Lots
your
of cool
hook.
stuff.
How did I hook that? What was
That was a good hook.
It was a B plus?
Yeah, no, yeah, that's good.
The non-committal. He just Kyled me. How does one get into Dragoncon without paying the expensive cost of admission? Actually, what is admission right now?
I don't know. It's over $100.
Per person?
Yeah, per person per day.
And is that the early bird, or is that the walk-in that day?
I think that is the early bird. But, you know, it's a huge event. Like you said, this spans multiple hotels, a very large convention center that's across the street from one of the hotels. That's like 5-6 stories. Not to mention the panels and all the different things you can do.
And they pay celebrities, and it's like
Adam Savage was there. I mean, it's not San Diego Comic-Con, it's not New York Comic-Con, but this has got to be number 3 or close to it. So Dragoncon is over Labor Day weekend. So
every year, right?
Every year, it's those 5 days. It's Thursday night, and then all day Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
How does one get into Dragoncon for free or paying very little?
You become a volunteer at Dragoncon. So you fill out an application, you go to the volunteer website, you pay a one-time $20 application fee, so it's not completely free, and then if you're accepted, they contact you, and then you kind of more or less get to pick where you want to volunteer, because there's so much to do. And we volunteered at the paint and take, and we've been doing that every year. So there's a section for new volunteers, and there's a section for returning volunteers. People who run that section, if they know you, oh, it's this person again, you get an automatic yes, or that's how it seems to work for us.
Okay, so it's all who you know.
Yeah, once you get in,
it's like, okay, he was a good volunteer. We're gonna, he's
this person worked.
That person, like, they were kind of lazy. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure that happens. It's like they didn't do their job, they didn't show up. That's probably the biggest thing, more than being lazy, is they say they're gonna work and then they don't show up.
You're not getting paid.
You're not getting paid, but you get it for free. So it is a lot of hours.
4 hours. You have to volunteer 4 hours, but then you get 1 day of admission?
It's about half. So if you're there the 5 days, you have to volunteer for half of that time. So it's a lot. It's a lot of work.
But it's 4 hours and you get a 4-hour...
Something like that. Yeah, it depends on the section. It depends on how each one divides it up. Because, you know, some panels aren't that long. Like our paint and take, that was a 12-hour thing, I think. It started pretty early in the morning. One year we worked an entire day. We worked all 3 shifts. So we could have more time off. We could have a full day without working.
Okay, so it depends on how many shifts you do gets you so much time in the convention.
Correct, but you have to do so many shifts. Like, otherwise it won't... If you say, well, I can only be there for 3 days, you're probably not going to end up being a volunteer.
But if you could do, like, half the day in one and then be able to be in the con the rest of the day.
Right. It depends on what you're doing also. If you're one of the people who are helping out one of the celebrities, then that celebrity's only there for a certain amount of time, so you have to work those hours.
Yeah.
Whereas mine was very stationary. You know, people came to us. They lined up. We didn't have to move. We didn't have to follow people.
What types of things did you and your wife do?
So it's called Paint and Take. Sign up to come in and paint a miniature. Free miniatures. They have $1 miniatures, $3 miniatures, and a $5 miniature that was random. They had a claw machine in these little balls, and you pick out a $5 miniature. And they had like one giant one that you could win, and it was a dragon this big. It was huge. We give you the paint, you sit down and paint. It's very zen. People said this was the coolest thing they did because, you know, running around in the con, you finally get to go to the paint and take and you just paint a little.
So what you guys do is walk around, refill paints. If people need brushes or water, you're kind of there to just help
clean it up,
walk around. Okay. So reset when someone leaves. You reset
put
that
paint on the trays.
Okay.
When people get their little paint.
That seems pretty easy. easy.
It was nice, yeah.
And then you get into the con for free.
Yeah, but you know, you're on your feet for a long time.
Yeah.
Hours and hours and hours.
Now, what do you and your wife go to the con for?
To spend money. My favorite game I've ever played is the Cult of Barnacle Bay Wonders. The Cult of Barnacle Bay game designer was there, and I got him to sign my box and everything, so it was super cool.
That's the other advantage, especially if you volunteer in the area of interest you are personally interested in, that you get to meet these kind of celebrities in the field.
Right.
You and your wife especially, is really big into board games. And so these board game celebrities are there, and you see them year after year, and you get to talk to them.
Wanderers is a small company, and he's Atlanta-based, so we get to see him. With the Japanime, that's just the people they send.
Yeah, but still,
yeah.
Sometimes they might give you free stuff or let you in on some, like, insider information, who knows. In fact, Kyle schmoozed his way. We might, I hate to put it out there in the universe until it happens, but we might get a chance to interview the owner, operators, creators of Panda Cult Games. They've created Kyle's favorite board game he's ever played.
And I have hundreds.
So, anything else we need to know or tell people about the volunteer program? They don't accept everyone.
They don't accept everyone.
You have to have an open schedule.
Yes, you basically have to have all 5 days available.
The other advantage you get for volunteering is if you are an acceptable volunteer, meaning they liked you and you actually worked, you get into a free thank you event that is just for volunteers, worthy volunteers, because you have to be invited. So if you weren't a great volunteer, if you didn't show up...
I'll back up one thing. They do something called the Dead Dog Party. Again, you have to be invited. So if you're a good volunteer, you get to go to this party. We've never been because it's late. I think on Monday night, we have to get up early. So we've never been. I hear it's awesome. But then they also do something sometime later, just for volunteers. They rented out the aquarium. They did Dave & Buster's.
And your kids got to come too, right?
Yep. It's a +2, I think. And then they have a swag table, so it's all the Dragoncon stuff that didn't sell. They're just like, take it, take it, take it. So this is 2019. This is what the Dragoncon shirt looked like, but the volunteer shirts are a different color. And they say
volunteer on the back. Ah, look at
so
you.
You knew that they were volunteer. They had the
volunteer flex.
Yeah, volunteer flex.
So if you want to get into Dragoncon for free, volunteer. But be a good volunteer. So you're going to take us through what all you did at Dragoncon 2023. Let me pull up the screen. There's some magic for you.
You know, this is from half the time we were there, because the other half of the time we were there, we were working. This is the information desk, or one of them. This is where you walk into the paint and take. It was where the gaming area is. So if you do the miniatures, they have a company that just brings in a bunch of old video games that you would see at a old arcade, and you just go in and play for free. And then they had a bunch of board game studios like demoing their stuff. And then there's that area where you get to basically just rent a board game. Kyle's here at the MARTA station, ready to go to Dragoncon. Let's see what cool stuff we're going to see at Dragoncon in Atlanta. Let's go.
So this is walking in.
So I believe this was the first day. Hopefully these aren't too out of order.
There's a fox girl in front of you. What is this?
This is where we were. That was the paint take. You see that line of tables?
All right, what are we looking at next?
This is one of the dealer halls. There's 3 levels of it. And then there is a artist's alley, they call it, on the top. But there's just...
there's you! What are you looking at?
Those are probably...
Transformers.
Probably. Yes, probably Transformers. Looking through his wares.
What'd you find?
I did find a 2004 or 5. There was Miraculous Ladybug that just walked by. 2004 or 5 Ravage from the Unicron trilogy. He was pretty cheap. He was complete. Good stuff.
Cheap and complete.
Cheap and complete.
I live by that mantra.
The best of the cheapest.
Justin. He's pretty cheap, but he's complete.
He's complete.
Lots of camo counts.
I do want to say you see all kinds of people. Well, I guess the toy conventions there was more. Like people like us who just like toys and they're kind of geeky and nerdy and they like toys. This you see more the entire spectrum humanity has to offer.
Teenagers who are big in anime, young like middle schoolers all the way up into like guys in their 50s, 60s, 70s.
Yep.
Who are just like, I was there when the first Dungeon Dragons came out.
Yep. And then people on the fringe side of society.
Into some stuff.
And then there's people who are there in suits and ties, like the opposite side. You saw everybody. This was a smattering of America. I'll tell you that.
Bootleg
Lego.
Fago, I like to call it. Fake Lego.
Oh, okay. Fake Lego. Okay, Fago. I like bootlego.
Bootlego. Nightmare Before Christmas, of course, is huge.
Oh, yeah. Everybody loves it. Some pops. Pops were everywhere, of course. Some cool ornaments.
What did...
Swords. These were display swords. They were metal, but they weren't sharp.
Okay.
Varying quality. Some of them were pretty good. Some were pretty cheap and junky.
Okay.
That you had everything.
What are those?
Sleep masks.
Oh!
So they
Do you
had
need
all
a sleep
sorts
mask?
of different characters. This is a leather store.
A leather
you could
armor.
Get leather
Wow.
armor, yeah, for LARPing or just, weekend getaways.
Or, for work.
And this is all like handmade leather stuff.
So expensive.
Very expensive.
I can't believe you stayed that long in that area then.
Just
the
walking
price
through.
tag
Just walking
was
through.
like,
It hurts.
they burn!
I did it for the views. Full leather things. Lots of girls were wearing corsets. Some cool handmade mugs.
You got a dragon.
Yes, I got one
Master
that's
mug.
a Dungeon Master, and there's an 8-sided die
Serving
bowl.
tray.
Yeah, very cool stuff.
Megatron
from Japan.
Yeah.
So it's the Takara version.
Oh, does that mean it shoots? Didn't one version
Yes.
of Megatron shoot?
And it came with a sword, which the original didn't come with. So it came with these plastic bullets that would shoot like 2 inches.
Pew. Any G.I. Joe classifieds here?
I did see classifieds, but after Joe Fest, we didn't need any. We got them all.
Now what's going on here?
This is some punk rock Spider-Man band.
They weren't actually playing though. That's a cardboard guitar.
Yes. Like Gwen Stacy dancing.
Yeah, she's
different
getting
punk.
down.
This was just out on the street in one of the places.
Wow. Is this an original song?
I don't know.
So that is Belle and Captain America?
There is Joker, what's his name, Boba Fett?
Oh, Joker Fett.
This is the hotel. This wasn't even the top of the... Well, you'll get to see. This is one of the hotels, and we are filming from one of the little snack centers they have for the volunteers. And this is a humongous hotel. I can't remember which one this is.
So you get free snacks?
Yes, they do have eating areas. They do actually have real food. Here's the DeLorean.
That is sweet.
Just a remake. It's got the LED lights on it and everything to make it super bright, and that blue. Very cool.
And a Ghostbuster.
Hoverboard.
Ghostbuster there.
Very, very pretty car.
Could you sit in it?
No.
I'm kidding. I knew you could.
Very nice. There's the flux capacitor fluxing. And there is Ghost Rider.
That's cool. I like this one, the manga car.
Yes.
Car.
That was pretty cool. Was this Corvette, I think? Brand new Corvette? Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if that's probably a wrap.
Yeah, it's gotta be. What were these?
These are cards. These are greeting cards. Thank you cards.
Wow.
This lady made them.
They're
So
gorgeous.
they're all sorts of really cool things. And, they fold flat, and you open them up. Oh,
Look
there's
at
an
that.
example. Very, very cool.
Giant.
I think those were foam. And these are metal dice. If you are into RPG gaming and you want some cool custom dice, this is the place to get it. There were several vendors who had their own dice that they made their own.
Was the mini vendors in your area, or were they just mixed in?
This is in the dealer hall.
Okay.
So this is in one of the 3 levels. And I don't know, I can't remember if I did a shot of just how big one level is. It's huge. And this is a different vendor of dice.
Look at that one. It's
A dice full of dice.
Yeah.
A die full of dice, I should say. There was a big display of lightsaber people. I think I didn't get a chance to ask, but I believe these were pretty expensive.
Okay. You make your own,
You get to pick. You get to pick the color. You get to pick the handle. There's Wanderers. There's Bandicoot games. You can see up in the top corner.
And your favorite game creator, or creator of your favorite game ever. There's a giant mini.
Yep, there's some of the painted minis. Amazing. This is a very fun game. If you like cooperative dungeon crawls, this, in my opinion, is the best one. Just, it's simple, it's fast, and it's really fun.
What was this? Comic and Pop
this is
Artist Alley?
This is Artist Alley. This is the top floor.
Okay.
This is the fourth.
Looks
account.
like guy who did Dexter's Laboratory and Powerpuff Girls.
It's in that art style. There's Japanime Games. That's not on Artist Alley, so there's a loud order. But there's some of the crazy games that they have. These are all either based off of Japanese IP, or they're designed by Japanese game designers, or they just have the Japanese art style. They might be an American game, but they use the art style.
Got it.
I think they started out by an import.
What's
cool
this?
shields.
Oh,
This
Bricker
is-
Builds! I met him, actually, when I worked for Atlanta Brick Co. I did an interview with this guy.
Okay.
They did.
So you know all about these guys.
Yeah, he actually created the program that they use. He wrote the program that they use to design these. Because
Nice.
they actually, what they do is they'll take the actual image, a 3D model of it, and then it'll brickify them. And then he has to go in and tweak
Fix
it.
Yeah.
But it's pretty fascinating. Really, really cool stuff.
They would have a speed build contest.
These
are
woodwork puzzles,
We
it's
usually get
gorgeous.
one of these a year for our children.
Did you get one?
We did. We got a cat sleeping on a shelf and a dragon.
Oh, that unicorn's awesome.
We got that a few years ago. These are really cool. They always have new ones every year. Some of them spell out something, like I
Aw.
Heart Cats.
Can you go to their website and ask for something specific, like somebody's name?
I don't know. I'm sure you could ask, and then they'll tell you whether that's possible or not. But that says Dachshund.
Yeah. More minis.
I think that this is from the same vendor that we showed before. I only remember one group selling minis, but they had so many of them. I believe these are all resin 3D printed.
Okay. Which there's that Hero Forge, which you can create your own mini, and they'll
Yeah.
send it to you. That's a website. Have you ever used that?
Just played with the creator character.
I used it once. They had a deal, like around Christmas time. They had a deal, so I actually made one.
Did you
Crystal
order it?
balls? Yeah.
Yeah, you
okay,
do
yeah.
have to show me. I guess like infinity balls, they're made to look like they go on forever.
It's a black hole. Now, what is this? Why did you take a video of this?
This is the 3D printer that they use to make all the minis that you were painting at Paint and Take. It's husband, wife, and daughter who run the Paint and Take for Dragoncon. She printed all the mini, however hundreds, thousands, at her home. And this is one of the 2 3D resin printers. This one prints upside down. So resin is way more detailed, and the machine doesn't clog as much. It pretty much stays liquid until it's exposed to UV.
That's why it's red, because it's a UV.
It
chamber?
protects it from UV. The bad thing is it's all toxic.
All right, what is this?
Clothes, fun geeky clothes, and they decided to put a fishman on top. These are little terrariums that look like Pokeballs. So just fun stuff. Poke cards, 3D Poke cards. These are just yarn dolls. Somebody was hand making, and they're really cool, super detailed,
Yeah,
cutesy dolls.
I think so.
Some cool enamel pins.
Yeah, they made their own?
Yeah, they make this. The Lich King, and they're all cats.
Yeah,
So he's a
Cat King.
cat skull, and he glows in the dark. The green glows. Generic Dungeons and Dragons characters. There's a wizard. And
It's
a fire.
always a cat.
This is made with Sculpey. This lady did a bunch of dragons, and
So Sculpey is like clay you don't have to
just you kiln it in an oven. So
Okay.
it kilns at it
at
doesn't
400
have,
or something. You
Yeah.
don't need to have that
oven
8,000.
yeah. It's not pottery where it has to be super hot. This
Yeah.
is oven. It's not as hard. You also don't have to paint it.
She had to have painted it because there's gradation and stuff.
Possibly. Pretty sure Sculpey takes paint. Those are dice holders. So he's got that one hand. You could put that on your desk and it holds your business card.
Snails.
Snails, yeah.
Cherry
Oh,
snails and pumpkin snails.
Yep. So very cutesy.
And these pillow shields.
Yep.
That's awesome. Pillow
Some more
Pac-Man.
pillows. Yep. Pack pillows.
back pillows and pillow nunchucks. I didn't know what those were at first. I had to look at them a few times. And really intricate costumes, again, for sale. So those were probably like over $1,000 for that dress.
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I know that leather stuff, I looked at some of the prices, and it was like, oh, $900.
Yeah. It's expensive, and then the labor, and then...
Yeah. I didn't get the Artist Alley, which was really neat. We bought some puppets. Handmade puppets by this guy in Florida. It's a lot of fun. MARTA was an experience.
So you guys ride MARTA in so you don't have to pay for parking.
MARTA's really cheap. It's like $5 for a round trip.
So MARTA is Atlanta's public transportation.
And we parked...
even more than Dragoncon, it's all kinds on MARTA.
Yeah, most of the people were fine. They were just looking at their phone. Our first day, there was somebody, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. I think it might have been like 7:58. A guy got on with a cigarette in his hand, which you can't smoke on MARTA. It wasn't lit, but he also just opened a bottle of wine. One of the stops is right below the hotel.
So you don't have to walk blocks.
No, one block.
The
3 hotels are within 3 or 4 blocks from each other.
Okay, so they're like across the street or one block
up
down.
the hill. One of them's kind of far because it's up the hill.
Okay. We have another big announcement. We have our own store now. If you're interested, we're not wearing anything right now. I should have to make it a bigger announcement.
Let's edit that. Oh, it didn't work.
No, I can't.
Didn't work. It didn't work.
No, that's not how it works, Scott.
Fix it in post.
We have our own Mirror Twins store through YouTube. It's actually through a third-party company, but there's a link down below. The way you get to it, there's a link in the description. But you can also just go to our actual page, our YouTube page. You go to store, and then there's all our stuff. The stuff you see in YouTube is not everything. If you go to the actual website and go to the Mirror Twin store, there's everything. Basically, you see a pattern, you see a print, you can get it on pretty much anything you want.
Yeah. Are you a single tin? Do you wish you had a twin? Are you a twin and you wish you had a mirror twin? Well, you can support your mirror twinness.
Yeah.
Is that a good one?
Yeah, that was great.
I didn't prepare that.
It was from the heart. It was from the heart.
That's
That's how I can tell. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe. If you feel like we've earned your subscription, which I hope we have, we gave you that tidbit, right?
Right. That should be worth something.
That should be worth at least a subscribe, right?
Subscribe.
A thumbs up, a share, something. And we will see you guys very soon.
Get out of here, you crazy kids.
And go to Dragoncon next year, if you can afford it. Or volunteer. Then you can definitely afford it.
Try to volunteer. Some people look at how much they have to work and like, I'll just pay the $100.